How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Yes, you're well?
Thank you.
Karibu Nairobi.
Thank you. Take our seats.
His Excellency Mr. Paul Kagame, His Excellency Mr. Emerson Nagawa, MV, President of the Presidential Presidency, Mr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, President of the Republic of Somalia. Her Excellency Ms. Sarah Kulgongelwa Amadina Prado Chandrier, Vice Prime Minister of the Republic of Gabon, of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau. Mr. Mateus Magala, Minister for Transport and President of the Republic of Mozambique. His Excellency Mr. Musa Faki Mahamat, and gentlemen. My name is Vincent Meje, Secretary General of the African Economic Group. Honorable Governor, we thank you and appreciate the relentless.
And without much further ado, I'd like to present the program of the opening ceremony. Of the President of the African Development Bank, President, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege and honor to call upon the Honorable Treasury for National Treasury and Economic Planning, AFDB Governor for Kenya, and the Chair
I said that this is not a job. This is a mission.
The pace of African economic growth and development has not kept pace with the rest of the world. More concerning is that the pace of African development remains far behind its undeniable potential. Intra-African trade remains low, with its share of global GDP less than 3%. Africa's share of global trade is also low, at just about 2%, and our exports are primarily unprocessed produce and raw materials. Not surprisingly, the rates of poverty and unemployment are still high on our continent. The vulnerabilities arising from this situation undoubtedly contribute significantly to conflict, economic refugees, and in this age of frequent extreme climate shocks, climate refugees. There is tremendous urgency in developing and implementing transformative interventions to turn things around for our continent, our countries, and our people. I am confident that this sense of urgency resonates very strongly amongst African leaders, and I am encouraged that we are not just doing something about it. We are actually making very good progress. Our continent is growing at the world's fastest rate, exceeding the global average of 3%, and 11 of the world's fastest growing economies in 2023 were African countries. We were told that by Adesina. Between 2000 and 2002, Africa's real GDP increased at an annual rate of 4.3%, well above the global average of 2.9%. 7 of the 10 world's fastest growing economies were in this continent of Africa. The Pan-African economic integration agenda has finally taken off. Our regional economic blocs are vibrant and effective, while the African Continental Free Trade Area has come into effect and already made a huge impact. Although much remains to be accomplished before intra-Africa trade is smooth across borders, the data indicates strong positive movement following the launch of the Guided Trading Initiative. We have been clear and consistent in our advocacy. Africa is neither seeking handouts nor asking for charity. We are a continent of sovereign people who aspire to grow in a just multilateral system and access development financing on fair terms. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not too much to ask. We were clear at the Africa Climate Summit last year when we called for reforms of the international financial institutions and a range of new global taxes to fund climate action. We were clear at COP28 in Dubai last December when we once again emphasized the urgent need to mobilize investment for climate transition in developing countries from public and private sources globally. We also agreed to support the creation of markets that can mobilize resources at scale and called for the reform of the international financial architecture. Today, we assert that transforming the international financial architecture is an imperative that will give Africa a fair chance to turn its immense potential into opportunities to overcome multiple challenges and develop inclusively and sustainably. I take this opportunity to reiterate my call at the recent concluded IDA 21 summit here in Nairobi, that we appeal for a substantial 17th replenishment of the Africa Development Fund by at least US $25 billion to increase its capacity to continue providing concessional financing to the least developed African countries. We therefore call on our donors and development partners to scale up their investment in our continent's premier development financial institution, the Africa Development Bank. To further strengthen the capacity of our multilateral development institutions, we strongly support the proposal to rechannel special drawing rights through the Africa Development Bank as endorsed by the Africa Union's Assembly of Heads of State and Government.